All right, so this week I'm here with Emily, right, our office manager. And how long have you been working here?
June will be 4 years.
4 years. And But how long had you been a patient before of mine? Because you
For-
started out as a patient.
Yes. So I think like 10 years ago I started seeing you as a patient. So probably 6 or 7 years before I started working for you.
Yep. And you came in, how'd you utilize chiropractic care then?
Back then,
So I first started practicing 10 years ago. Probably my first year into practice, you came in as a patient, right? And how often would you come in? Would you come in for? Those types of things.
Yep. So I started seeing you for neck pain and headaches. I got really bad migraines for a long time. And actually a friend of mine had found you, Chloe.
Oh yeah.
And she recommended you.
She came in first.
And I had seen
you guys came in together.
Yes.
I remember
it was
you
like
used to come in high school. You used
both
to come
of
in
us
together.
Yes. And I think she had only been seeing you for maybe a few weeks before she told me. But I had seen chiropractors my whole life. And then started seeing you, and you were the best fit that I had found. But I had neck pain, I had headaches.
And you had been to a chiropractor before? One other chiropractor?
Nope. So my mom worked for a chiropractor when I was born.
Okay.
So when I was probably an infant to toddler, I started being adjusted regularly. And then we moved up to Salisbury when I was 7, and I probably found another one when I was like 12, 13, and then saw them regularly. So probably till I saw you till I was about 17. So probably 3 or 4 total. And then, stuck with you. But I really only kind of came in when I felt crappy. Like I didn't really come in regularly. I wasn't like a maintenance patient. I definitely.
So if you had a headache brewing, you would come in?
Yes.
How long into, was the headache raging and you'd come in? Or would you have some indicators or something that you would notice before?
So I can always tell when I'm going to get a migraine versus a regular headache.
And what's that?
So it's a different kind of pain radiating from kind of the base of my neck up through all the way to the front over my eye. So I can normally tell pretty quickly within a couple of hours if it's going to be just a basic headache that I can, kind of ice and work out myself, or if it's going to kind of blow up into something worse. And I also took a lot of ibuprofen and Tylenol growing up because of my headaches.
Anymore?
Not nearly as much.
Okay,
no.
Cool.
But I always got headaches, so I always was like, oh, I have a headache, let me take something. And then finding you and kind of being able to get into, it was very easy to get in and see you, which was helpful too, because I felt like I could call or pop over and, you'd probably have time. Yeah, and it was, so I would say, when I knew that it was going to be a migraine, or if it had been a headache, that was like a couple of days in.
And that's the way you would utilize the care. So working here, right, for the last 4 years. What are you most surprised at about when you are here seeing all these patients and you see the patients come in and out and stuff like that, and what the conditions they got going on? What is the most surprising utilization style of what we do here? The types of patients that come in that surprises you the most?
I would say
that you were really surprised by, I can't believe that they think of us this way and use us this way.
I would say the patients that we have that are so consistent with their maintenance care, whether it's once a month, every 6 weeks, every 2 weeks, that always have an appointment on the schedule and just always come in.
And what do you see from those people?
Oh, they definitely feel the best.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
Cool, right?
Yes. And it's funny because growing up very familiar with chiropractic care, I was always an advocate for it, but I didn't even know that it was treated as such a maintenance plan. I thought every patient came in the way I did. They felt bad, they called you, they came in, maybe 1 or 2 visits for that week, and then they didn't see you again for 3 months or 6 months.
And where do you think that comes from? The way that chiropractic educates their patient, or just the personal patient?
No, the personal patient, definitely. Because, and I think I mentioned to you this before, the practice I had been at before you did a lot of educating, but in a quiz-like way. So they'd ask me questions and things like that, and I felt like that made me feel like I was on the spot to come in all the time. So it was definitely, not necessarily the way that I was taught about it, but it was, And, but I think it was, my own personal beliefs or what I've saw in my family with chiropractic.
Yeah.
You know, because most of my family has seen chiropractic, but you know, my parents, my grandparents, but nobody ever went regularly.
Yeah. So it's just the habit of going on a particular frequency, and that's for the utilization course.
When you felt like you needed it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you notice. Because I've been doing it so long, I know that the benefits of being treated on a more regular basis. But that was really surprising to you, huh?
It was. Yeah.
Cool.
And I figured there were some, but I didn't feel like it was. I think the population of people that actually utilize it in that way, which is, I think, the most effective way.
So you really see that much of a difference?
Yes.
You do? Mm-hmm. I don't even look at it like that, because I don't want to end up pushing it on someone or anything like that.
Right. And I don't think that you ever have, and even as a patient, I never felt like that. But I also think that it's partly why you and I have such good conversation, because I have the point of view as just your patient, besides being your employee. Okay. You know? Yep. And I think it helps both of us kind of understand where some of that stuff falls.
No, that's enlightening for me. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good one so far. All right. So another question I have is, what is the most surprising condition that we helped that you were surprised that we could even help? Like, what has come in that you're like, oh my God, like, what the heck?
There's more than one.
Really?
Yeah.
So give me your top two.
Okay. So top two would probably be the kids that we've helped. Probably the top one would be the kids that we've helped who have had either like disability or autoimmune, like immune stuff, or
and you actually said the other day, like, you can see a change in their personality and the way
attitude,
they come in, even at like 4 or 5 years old.
Absolutely. So I think the kids that we've helped in treating different disorders or illnesses that you wouldn't even think about, even down to like the acid reflux or the colic and things like that we've treated. And I mean, we've seen a wide variety of kids from obviously newborn to, you know, adolescent, but I think those younger ones that fall in like the 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old, to see them progress physically and mentally has been really interesting.
This is good, because I take all that for granted because I just do it every day.
But I think the other thing too that I've found since the last 6 months or so, you being able to utilize that space.
Oh yeah, you see what I do.
I hear you and I see you with the kids, which has given me a different perspective.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I try not. Just sat
around? No. Just ask them how their day was. No. You know, and they'll come out differently and stuff, but I feel like, and I don't ever try to go back because I don't want to distract them, but sometimes I'll stand and listen because it's interesting to me. First of all, the way you interact with them is very good. You're very good with kids, but
thank you.
Yeah, but just like hearing them tell you, I did my rolls or I did my tummy time, and they're excited to tell you that they're doing the things that you have implemented and that they're probably feeling is helping them, because they probably wouldn't be so excited to do it if they didn't feel a difference.
No, they are.
So, you know, that stuff's really, really cool to watch. And it's really cool to see the parents and how grateful and too. And just, you know, you can be an advocate for chiropractic, but until you kind of go through it with, you know, something like that, it's like a different perspective, I think.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. All right, last one. We're running out of time.
All right.
My favorite part, because I do this all the time, and it kind of like, we see a lot of the same things, and we're able to help with a lot. My favorite thing about coming into work every day is what I get to learn from my patients.
Okay.
What is the most interesting thing that you, like, life lesson that you learn from a patient? Because we have patients from all walks of life, all income levels, all issue levels, right? And people can have a ton of money and have the same exact issues and problems that they feel like people have the same exact issues as someone with low income or different areas of life and stuff like that. So what have you really learned for yourself that you've taken into your own life that you've actually learned from a patient?
So I definitely think seeing the patients who run on that constant, like, go, never take a break, never take time from themselves. Don't have a lot of those,
so we can see all these humans coming in, right?
Absolutely.
So you can tell, like, we see a bunch of different humans every day, right? And they all have different personalities, and they all move at different speeds. It's weird, right? Like, you can tell how quickly someone's moving, how quickly their eyes dart, how fast they talk, all of those things. It's very fascinating.
And we have to shift. we have to shift the way we interact with some of those patients, not in like an, on an unauthentic way, but just, okay, they're going to talk to me like this, or versus somebody who like, I'm going to have to talk slower. They're a little older. I got to talk louder. You kind of have to change how where your level's at when those types of people come in.
So do you feel like you've slowed down now that you've seen the speedy people come in?
I do.
Yeah.
And I feel like
you're more self-aware of your
yes. And I feel like some of those things that I would used to feel guilty about, for example, like coming home and just like hanging on the couch or, relaxing and not doing a whole lot. Some of those things that used to make me feel guilty, I don't feel guilty about anymore. Yeah. Because, and you help with that too, because we have a really good philosophy too about like taking time for ourselves and our families and our, personal lives.
Yeah.
And so any of the time that I feel like I've got home and I'm like, oh, I should have done a little laundry or something like that. I'm like, you know what? But tonight I needed to just relax. Yeah. And there's so many people that we see that don't do those types of things.
Yeah, they don't at all.
They don't take the time. And then they're burnt out.
Yeah.
And then
and you can tell that their issues and their pain is directly related to that type of stuff.
Absolutely.
That's cool. All right. Well, I'm glad that we answered all those questions.
Yeah.
And we'll do this again then, because that went well.
All right.